So over the past week, a wave of unprecedented heat swept through the Polish YouTube community, fueled by what has now been dubbed the Pandora Gate scandal, which is what the title of this video is. I think this is where that title stems from. They coined the term. This is like an investigation that this channel did in order to uncover all of it. The controversy brought to light allegations of pedophilic acts by some prominent YouTubers and celebrities, shaking the foundation of the digital sphere in Poland. Scandal was triggered by a video released by, not even going to try and pronounce that, a seasoned journalist known for his sports commentary. In this video, Stanowski discussed the unfolding situation and took an unexpected step. He announced that, not even going to try with that one either, a popular YouTuber would no longer co-host their Monday morning show. The cause? A 9-year-old video that, according to Dabrowski, crossed the line of humor. Dabrowski publicly apologized for his past indiscretion and expressed his support for fighting pedophilia. The accusations were first brought to light by Sylvester, another YouTuber. In a video, he exposed the potential pedophilic activities of two well-known Polish figures associated with the online creator community. The accused allegedly used their fame and influence to sexually abuse young girls, some as young as 12 to 14 years old. They would invite these minors to hotels, intoxicate them with alcohol, and take advantage of their impaired state. So, the creator community was Minecraft, apparently. It stemmed from Minecraft communities, from the biggest channels in Poland for it. And it became like a well-known thing. Like, one of the creators that's accused apparently would like openly share that the sight of pubic hair would make him I'm getting wires crossed. A lot of cross-referencing happened. Again, I'm going off of translated breakdowns. So his ex-girlfriend, when they broke up, made a claim that he hated the sight of pubic hair so much it would make him vomit. And then when they were trying to keep things under wrap, one of the victims or something had mentioned that this guy hated hair without mentioning that guy's name, and people connected dots that it's probably the same guy. And then it turns out that guy was like an open secret that loved to be around like young underage girls, and it's just been like this whole crazy thing. So it's just, it's a fucking wild situation from everything that I've been able to glean from it here in the translations, which is why I wanted to find more English sources on it, because everything I found is Polish and probably not accurately translated through Google's built-in system, and also pretty brief. And this doesn't have closed captioning, so I can't even watch the video, because I won't understand it. Oh, I'm sure that blockchain game's gonna go hard, Obi-Wan. Those blockchain games are great. Classics. Thanks for the membership, Skywalker. Glad you're liking Bloodborne, Matthew. The revelation sent shockwaves through the Polish internet community, particularly among YouTubers. The public outcry was immediate and significant, with a large section expressing disgust and disappointment at the actions of the accused individuals. The demand for justice was strong, and many hoped that the scandal would gain international attention, leading to a thorough investigation and punishment for the guilty parties. But surprisingly, it hasn't, because I barely heard about this at all. Even though one of the streamers went live, was it last night or the night before? I don't know. One of the streamers went live on YouTube a couple nights ago to go over more evidence and like react to more evidence that came out and like someone's side of the story. He had 400,000 concurrent viewers on YouTube, which is, it's an unfathomably large number for a stream. Which gaming community is an actual pedophile ring? None. But if you want, like, the community with the most pedophiles, I actually don't think it's Minecraft, it's Roblox. That'd be my guess. You aware that Bill Burr likes One Punch Man? I was not aware of that. That's very cool, though. He's got good taste. And someone just mentioned the Ring Doorbell $1 million bounty or whatever for the aliens. I don't know who you're talking about with that pickle. Hi, Hero. And hello, Jason. I haven't listened to the new Drake album. The Polish government and justice system have responded to the scandal. An intensive investigation into the matter has been ordered by the Minister of Justice, with the regional prosecutor overseeing the proceedings. However, the investigation faces some obstacles, as some individuals implicated in the report are not present in the country or are residing outside Poland. The scandal has also prompted discussions with the online creator community about the unchecked influence and power of popular figures. Concerns have been raised about the need for more stringent rules and regulations to protect young and vulnerable individuals from exploitation and abuse on social media platforms. The Pandora Gate scandal has raised critical questions about the responsibility influencers hold and protections needed for minors online. Number one protection for minors online is active parents. I just don't think kids should be allowed to unmonitored go on the internet. Full stop. I know when I was a kid, my parents trusted me online and shit, but I just feel like you can't do that. You really can't. Not in this day and age. Now with this unlimited access to strangers at every single moment of every single day, you need active parents to monitor your children. Like, I don't think this is necessarily like YouTube should step in and make rules against this. Like, what? No pedophilia. Obviously, it is a rule, but like, how are they supposed to know? Like, this isn't Minority Report. They don't have like a division that can see the future with the Minecraft YouTubers that end up being pedophiles, right? Like, there's not really rules in place you can do. You just need better parenting. Things in the membership typical. In the membership bozo. I can't say I've seen the new Winnie the Pooh horror game. I'll check it out, though. Did you ever skydive? No. I don't think so. Wait, no shot that happened, James. If you're being serious, send that to Matt's Twitter. There's no way you got paid a visit by the same person. That'd be fucking crazy. His Twitter is super spicy Matt, so if you're being serious, tweet it at him. And no, Rami, when have I ever talked about things like that? So of course not. I haven't finished Mirage and I'm not going to. I just haven't enjoyed it. These are 10 gifted members, Ethereal. Thanks, Travelus. So this is the bit, like, the general breakdown of it. And everything else is Polish. So, hopefully it gets picked up in the States so I can read more about exactly what the fuck has been going on, but it is a crazy situation here. What makes a good villain in this story? Well, it depends, man. Sometimes you can make a cartoonishly evil villain work well, but I think most often you need someone that is like... You need like charisma, and you need like a very good motivator that's not just super baseline and super silly. So like some of the best villains are the ones that you never really see coming as a villain, like a slow transition. Like Code Geass, my favorite anime. The main villain becomes... Well, okay, I don't want to spoil anything, actually, but I think the gradual... Attack on Titan is another good one. The main villain is someone you never would have expected it to happen to. Those are the ones that really stick. I'm sorry to hear that, Spooky. Jesus, I hope it's not common in small villages. Thanks for the membership, Calibrate. I think everything's having a problem with trash overflow. Sorry to hear it though, Will. Hope they get it together. You know about the BMT cop guy? Fuck no, I have no idea who that is. Thanks for the membership, Rico. What genre of game will be the next big hit? Extraction. Black Clover's fine. I didn't dislike it. I didn't love it. It's fine. in Nine Inch Nails is also fine. I don't love them. I don't dislike them. They're just fine. We talked about the bedbug epidemic in France. I don't remember if I talked about that or not. I saw that like a week ago. Bedbugs are scary. God bless. Stay safe out there in France. We were just going over the Poland pedophile Minecraft gate thing. Well, to the best of my ability, without being able to read Polish. So just like the very short breakdowns. And not really been. Thanks for the membership, Icy. Worst celebrity? James Corden. Well, I mean, there's like worse celebrities in terms of being evil. But as far as like a non-evil celebrity, James Corden just sucks. His biggest crime is just being super annoying and not entertaining. Thanks for the membership. Kabibi. What's your take on the Powerball now? The same as always, you're not going to win. Just a waste of money. Thanks, James. I'll make sure he sees it. Just when you thought you'd finally seen all of the degeneracy disgusting YouTubers could ever cook up in their cursed kitchen, you get jump scared by a new outrageous, heinous act committed by a YouTuber. In the words of Qui-Gon Jinn, there's always a bigger fish. And in this case, that fish is evil. There is a new evil action that a YouTuber just proudly engaged in that I just learned about today. This comes from the true crime community. This comes from a YouTuber named Zavgirl, who charged people on Patreon for access to autopsy photos of a murdered 11-year-old boy. That is some morally demented shit right there that would have a demon cringing. Now, Zavgirl is refuting some of these claims and even released her own apology video explaining her side of the situation. Just a quick side note, apology videos have become 2023's Harlem Shake. This is a massive flood of apology videos that we've gotten in just like the last month. If YouTuber apologies were a stock option and you invested back in January of this year, you'd be a millionaire by now. It is crazy just how often this is happening. Now, her apology video might not feature a ukulele, but it's still just as shitty. But before really diving into that, I want to give a general overview of the situation. Zavgirl is a true crime YouTuber, and she had just recently dove into the case of an 11-year-old boy named Gannon who was brutally murdered by his stepmother, Letitia Stouch. And it is just unbelievably disturbing. The mother is on trial now, which I imagine is why Zavgirl wanted to start talking about it since it's now unfolding in court. I don't really want to get into the specifics of the case. Basically, the stepmother tortured the son, stabbed him a ton of times, shot him in the head, and then stuffed his corpse into a suitcase and started to pretend like he was missing. So she told the authorities all kinds of different stories, like he didn't come home after going to a friend's house. Then she even came up with some kind of fucking wild narrative about how someone that was fixing her carpet ended up raping her and then abducting the child. So she got caught lying a ton of times. Eventually, investigators found blood on her shoes and in her car as well as in Gannon's room, and then her DNA on a gun that was linked to Gannon's death. So they caught her and realized that she was responsible for Gannon's murder. So Zavgirl followed the Letitia Stouch case and said that she had recently made an official records request, which is something I didn't even know you could do as just like an average Joe Schmo. I had no fucking clue that any goofball goober could just ask and get sensitive files like she received. I guess I'm just very naive to what you're able to ask for, but I feel like those kind of things should only be made accessible to the victim's family as well as like official sources, not just YouTubers. But that, I mean, that's just me, I guess, speaking as a goddamn Neanderthal who I guess doesn't understand how things work here. That was surprising, but she said that she had made an official records request and then received all of these documents. which she posted on her Patreon. I'll go ahead and play this clip from her apology video where she tries to explain that this is a little misleading. She wasn't just charging for autopsy photos, she was actually charging for everything, which included autopsy photos.
I have followed the Letitia Stout case closely, and it was actually during the trial that I made the official records request. And it was in El Paso County, Colorado. I requested all the video, audio, and written records. I made no request for autopsy photos. I wanted all trial records, but my main interests were interviews with Letitia. The autopsy photos just happened to be in the files.
Not exactly the slam dunk you think it is here. You still did charge for all of this sensitive information, which does include the autopsy photographs, as you mentioned. I'll be extremely charitable here. I'll really throw you a bone and assume you're telling the truth that you didn't specifically seek out autopsy photos. You still got them, and you still published them, and you still charged for them on your Patreon. They were a component of what you were charging your audience for. You legitimately set up basically a booth in your Patreon where you could go in and look at photos of a dead child and learn everything that happened to him with the murder. How do you not recognize how incredibly fucked up that is? That is bafflingly evil. I understand desensitization is a real thing, right? Doctors get desensitized to gore and blood. Gamers get desensitized to being insulted in video games over Xbox Live. I get it, but I just don't understand how someone could ever reach the point where they're desensitized to the brutal murder of a child, and so desensitized, in fact, that you're going to charge people access to it. Other depraved fucking people that for some reason want to pay money to see photos of a dead child. So again, even if your primary goal wasn't to get autopsy photographs, you did receive them, you did publish them, and you charged an admission fee for people to look at them. You were making money off of showing people someone's dead child. How can you not recognize the complete absence of humanity and complete lack of empathy? She was also just giddy with excitement that she got her hands on all of this in the first place. Here's a community post that she hasn't deleted. Well, and I think she has deleted other ones, but I'll get to that in a moment. But she said, "Hey you all, so I got a bunch of Letitia Stouch case files I'm going to be releasing. So there's some new videos and info, and also some videos they played in court, but the quality wasn't the best, so I have the originals where it's not a recording of a crooked TV screen. LOL! So if you're interested, keep your eyes out for my videos. I'm gonna get them out as fast as I can. There's some that might take me longer because, for instance, all the text messages, I like to read them for you, so those will take me some time, but I'm gonna try to get them out as soon as I can." Just a quick side note, she sucks fuck at writing. I guess she just doesn't believe in grammar. There wasn't a single comma to be had in this entire statement. It made it very difficult to read. It was just one long, random, vomited, evil thought that she put on the community tab here, with random capitalization of random words. I guess, you know, her pinky gets really excited and just slaps the shift key down mid-sentence sometimes to capitalize a random fucking word. But anyway, you can see the excitement here in this post. She is elated, celebrating like it's Christmas now that she has these records, because she's going to get a lot of content out of the records for her Patreon and for her YouTube audience as well. She was fucking roaring to go. And then she did. And she faced backlash even from her own community. So in the article I read about this situation, they referenced some of her community posts that I can no longer find. I don't know if they were deleted. So I just wanted to put that out there that these are no longer on her channel. But according to this article, she addressed the criticism in a lengthy statement saying, "The reality of the situation is that different people feel differently about this. Some people genuinely think making a video including the autopsy photos is bad, and I respect their opinion and feelings. Other people, like myself, think of autopsy photos and the coroner explaining them as interesting and informative, and are able to view it all in a more scientific, detached way. It's just one of those things where it depends on the person." Hey Zav girl, let me hit you with some cold water real quick. If you're the kind of person that looks at photos of a dead child and goes over the details on how they were brutally tortured and murdered and think to yourself, this is good content. This content's a fucking banger. This is going on Patreon right now. I'm gonna get fucking paid for this shit. Let's go. Then you're a bad person. That's the kind of person you are. You are an evil piece of shit person is what you are. This isn't like some kind of debatable position. This isn't a hot take for me. I don't know how she even thinks that there is a large number of people that think like her, where, oh, we actually just look at photos of dead, murdered children in a scientific, analytical way, as we could learn from this, like, oh, look at that, stabbed 1,000 times, this is very interesting. I'm giving that an updoot, and here's $5, thanks for showing me this. That's not common. She literally dropped a, I'm sorry you feel that way, over this whole situation in her community tab, I guess. That blows my mind. That blows my mind. And this is something I've always wondered about from the true crimes community, if there's ever any actual empathy for victims from channels like hers. I know that there are some true crime productions that actually aim to do good by trying to solve cold cases, and I think there is like a legitimate effort to do something there that's more than just exploitative, whereas what Zavgirl does here is legitimately just exploitative. She is trying to capitalize off the trauma of this family and make money from it for her true crime channel. I actually don't know how she sleeps at night. According to the article, the community post continued and it went into her denying that the autopsy footage that she distributed showed genitalia. She said, I understand some of you have issues with me charging money on my Patreon for the video. If I was charging money for the autopsy files alone or something like that, I think I'd see your point. But in this case, I spent a lot of time and worked hard putting together a video lining up the coroner's audio and descriptions along with the appropriate part of the photos she is describing and editing it together to try and make it as informative as possible for the viewer. That's what I'm charging for, which I would hope you can agree is understandable. Zavgirl, I don't agree. It's not understandable. I completely disagree. Basically, what you're describing here is you made an autopsy photo montage where you synced up the photos of a murdered child's body with the coroner's explanation on how they were murdered and died. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, I don't know why you think that that's effort worthy of compensation, or why you think that what you did is a good thing. This isn't informative by any means. You're not like a documentary filmmaker that's paying respect to the victims' families or anything like that. This is the most disrespectful shit ever. Like, this is beyond reprehensible. If you were aiming to create an informative video about the situation, why do you need the photos to accompany it? You could just have the coroner's explanation of it. You don't need the photos there. Clearly the reason you had them there is because you knew people would maybe pay for morbid curiosity to see a murdered child, because there are some sick fucks in the world. That was clearly the intention behind having the photos there. Like, there's no other argument you can make for it, because again, if you wanted to just make a piece of content that was supposed to outline the horrors of this case, you could do that without showcasing the child's body. That's basic common sense. But I want to make it clear, even if you never published the autopsy photos, I still think what you did was exploitative and disrespectful to the victim and victim's family. What you did here is not just provide details to a case to try and educate people on something horrible that happened or anything. You turned this case into a spectacle for your community to, like, give you impressions and engagement on. The goal of what you did here does not seem to be information or anything like that. The goal from you seems to have tried to be, like, a piece of entertainment about it, which is so fucked up.
I didn't think any of the images were new. These photos were already public, although the video I put together with the coroner's voice was my own creation. I chose to put the video on Patreon because of the sensitive nature of the evidence. Putting the evidence behind a paywall meant added security, and I naively thought they wouldn't be made public.
Well, that was certainly a dumb thing to listen to. Putting it on Patreon is still making the information public. You took private information and you published it on Patreon. A paywall does not mean that it's still private. It is easily accessible to anyone that wants to fork over a few doubloons to access it. Thus, the information is no longer private.
The video I created with a voice from the coroner wasn't meant to be shared outside of Patreon, and I chose not to put the photos on YouTube, a public forum, where the views would have allowed me to make more money, and the photos would be seen by more people.
Wow, you're such a saint. What an angel. She took a pay cut by only posting the murdered child autopsy photos on Patreon behind a paywall there, instead of posting it on YouTube, which I don't think you could even do on YouTube to begin with. What the fuck? What are you talking about here?
Because the video was placed behind a paywall, rumors about the images not being blurred or being different than what was shown in trial started to surface. No photos shows genitalia. I have made no jokes about the photos. I don't even cuss on my channel, and I would never allow derogatory remarks about a victim. I realized my intentions were not communicated well.
This is deflecting. It's not your intentions that people were questioning. The entire act of what you did here is a problem. It is disgusting what you did. It has nothing to do with your motivation behind doing it. The fact you did it at all is the problem. There's no intention that justifies it. There just isn't. There isn't an argument you can make that will, in any way, shape, or form, make it seem reasonable to have published the autopsy photos in any capacity, or made all of those private documents accessible through anyone that pays directly to you for the information. And again, even if you did make all of this publicly accessible without a paywall, releasing all of this kind of shit, the autopsy photos, coroner stuff, all of that, I still think it is exploitative because you are capitalizing off of it. I still think there wasn't really a good explanation for anything you did in this whole situation. So it has nothing to do with your fucking intentions. There is nothing you could have done that would have made this understandable in any capacity. So, yeah. She then goes on to say that her Patreon did get shut down for it, which sounds about right. That makes a lot of sense considering what she posted on there. And, yeah, that's kind of the whole situation in a nutshell. That's about it. See ya. Today we're talking about a serious topic that I'm shocked hasn't become a bigger story. Right now the only YouTuber that's covered it is Some Ordinary Gamers, Mudahar. Shout out to Mudahar. He's a sweet, special little angel, a butterfly with a heart of gold. And he's been talking about this story, or talked about it yesterday, and it's been ongoing for a little while now. It involves a beloved YouTuber that I was personally a fan of, even made a video on him a long time ago, and a YouTuber that I'm sure many of you have probably heard of before. Feature Man. His channel used to have nearly 450,000 subscribers, but he's been losing a good handful of them now due to the story that's come out. And he's also deleted a ton of his videos. He's purged his whole channel, burnt down his own Library of Alexandria here, so a lot of his biggest content no longer exists, but you probably remember him from going viral a few times for how to eat a watermelon, for example, where he kind of became this wacky watermelon old guy. He really broke the magician's code with that video. He opened everyone's third eye to the truth, the optimal way of attacking a watermelon and consuming it. And his whole channel had always existed in this limbo, this fabric between dimensions, between realms of, is it satirical or is this guy serious? He's an older gentleman, and people are wondering, is he geriatric? Is he senile? Because his recipes, and that was the main bulk of his content, was like goofy recipes, were always unhinged. Like digging out a hole in a watermelon and dumping fucking onion powder and a shoelace in it and being like, yep, this is a good watermelon recipe. Or a fucking pack of Vienna sausages and then putting mustard on it and then slamming it in between 5 pieces of bread and then putting sprinkles. Like all kinds of crazy shit, really. And for a long time, he cultivated an audience where they were laughing along with him. But now nobody's laughing after a series of investigations conducted by the community revealed a very fucked up past. It turns out he's not some innocent, wholesome octogenarian just posting YouTube videos and he's a good saint or anything. He's actually just evil. He, in the past, was facing 3 consecutive life in prison charges due to infamous crimes against nature for his sexual contact with minors. And after this information came to light, Feature Man himself even posted a video, which he has now deleted, where he kind of tackled all of it head on, while tiptoeing around the actual specifics of the case. I'll play some clips from that for you real quick, and I highly recommend watching Mudahar's video on this whole thing, because he goes very in-depth going through the actual court documents as well as the newspaper clippings that the community has all put together. I'm just going to be giving you like a general breakdown of this whole situation. It's fucking rough.
About 1977, I became involved with the court system once again. I was arrested. I was tried, I was convicted by a jury, and I was sentenced. And the sentence was life in prison. And the sentence was life in prison. And the sentence was life in prison. Three lives in prison.
Knowing what I know now about this man, I can't even listen to him without getting the heebie-jeebies. The way he's talking here sounds like Palpatine when he's going over the Darth Plagueis the Wise story to Anakin. Many abilities deemed unnatural. Like, it's fucking terrifying, especially given what he has done. So, this is him kind of laying out the foundation that he received these 3 life in prison charges, and he maintains that it was a complete corrupt law. This infamous crimes against nature law for which he was tried and found guilty of was a whole bunch of baloney. It was all fucking dirty barnacles and foul play. The supposed victim, you know, it was never a minor, over 18, he makes sure to specify.
And without getting into details, I will say that there was a trial, and the witness against me, and he was over 18 years of age, the witness against me admitted on the witness stand that he was lying.
Darth Sidious is doing his best to placate and omit important details. He tries to talk about this infamous crimes against nature law as if the reason he fell victim to it is because it was just completely fucked up, right? So he's trying to say, like, back during the time that this happened, which was like 45 years ago now, this law was used as just like an anything goes. They were real loosey-goosey with it. If it wasn't a relationship between a man and a woman, they could slap you with the infamous crimes against nature law. And he tries to present this law as if it was this boogeyman that he himself was on the front lines of justice fighting against. He mentions multiple times that he helped have the law changed around. But he makes it sound like, you know, it was just completely a wild west of law enforcement here. You know, if you kissed your body pillow that had a waifu on it, you would have went right to jail under the infamous crimes against nature law. If you are a furry, they would have thrown you right in the slammer under this law, this and that. And he's trying to make it seem like because his situation wasn't a man and a woman, that's why he stood trial for his crimes. He fails to mention that even though it wasn't a man and a woman, that's not the problem. It was because it was him and a child. But he's trying to make it seem like it was because they didn't tolerate gay people, they were homophobic, and that's what the law was used to, that's why they used that law against him. He just continues to omit the fact that it was a minor. Him saying that the witness was 18 years old is extremely misleading, because while the witness may have been 18 at the time of that trial, he was not 18 when he was a victim of Tom. He was a minor. This happened years later when he was on trial and was 18, but when the actual yucky events happened, he was a child. So Tom, in this entire video here, tries to play himself off as a victim, but also narcissistic in that he celebrates his victory over this whole case and how he gets off with barely even a fucking slap on the wrist for all of it. It's fucking sickening.
Like, at the end of the day, obviously this isn't an interaction between a man or a woman, but it's also not an interaction between a legally aged man and another legally aged man. Again, reading the court documents, it involves a minor. Reading the news clippings, it involves a minor well under the age of 18. Well, why not include that into the situation? Again, without getting into details, I can see why he wouldn't get into details, because there is no actual defense. This boy to a room to introduce him to the guitar, a musical instrument. But the session ended in the first act of oral copulation. So again, it only says the first of several acts. It wasn't just one, it was multiple.
Now, I bet you're wondering how he was able to weasel his way out of this sentencing. 3 life sentences, that's not exactly small potatoes by any means there. That's not like a you wouldn't download a car situation where you're pirating John Wick 2 or whatever. This was very big, and he was able to wiggle his way out due to a fucking technicality. One that I still don't fully understand how he was able to pull off. Even after watching Mudahar's video and reading into it myself, I still don't quite understand how he was able to get away with such a slap on the wrist in light of all of these charges in the sentencing. I'm still a little confuddled by that. So I encourage you to look into this case if you were once a fan of Feature Man as well. I'm not going to even bother trying to tackle exactly how the technicality works that got him out of this extreme sentence that he was facing. But one thing is very clear. Tom shows absolutely no remorse for any of this. He also seems to have a very favorable view of himself, where he's almost like a hero who fought against an archaic law that was used against him unjustly, while never revealing to his audience that the victims here were minors. He continues to skirt around that fact, and it's fucking gross. So yeah, like I mentioned, I did like Feature Man's content. I didn't watch like every single upload, but I did watch a good handful of them. Like I said, I even made a video on him a long time ago. And this was an absolutely wild development here. This would have been like learning Mr. Rogers was secretly selling heroin to kids. I just couldn't believe this when I saw Mudahar posted the video, and now I'm just disgusted by this guy. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about it a little bit. That's about it. So yep, I'll just say it out loud with my whole chest. I love learning about useless, meaningless internet drama. It's one of those things where I spend an embarrassing amount of time reading every little niche tiff that a community has, going to every single facet of the internet, learning about what kind of controversy or what drama is happening over there. If I spent that same amount of time that I do reading about internet drama and instead spent that time learning useful skills, I would have been able to master like 5 different skills right now, like some really cool special things like juggling and clogging. But instead, I just learn about nonsense. It's my main vice, and it's more addicting than heroin, and I recognize that it's a pathetic hobby. It'd be less embarrassing if I just made fursuits in my spare time than read about internet drama. But regardless, the reason I'm talking about it today is because I recently watched Wavy Web Surf's new video on YouTubers that are in prison, and I was confident that I would know everyone that he was about to speak on, and I did know all of them except one. And that surprised me because the one I didn't know is really a fucked up situation that I feel most people probably weren't aware of, because when I look up this person's name, there's only one channel that's ever really talked about them at length, and that was Philip DeFranco. Now, Philip DeFranco talks about something Paymoney Wubby talked about, which was the really weird fetish of breastfeeding videos on YouTube, where it clearly wasn't educational and they weren't breastfeeding their kids for the sake of like getting them nutrients, you know, like the actual biological function of breastfeeding. They were filming this because it was fetish content to some really sick weirdos that were watching it. So he was focusing on the entire depraved community and only briefly mentioned the person we're about to talk about, Lee Felton. Lee Felton was once a piano teacher, but after her husband left her and her child, she then got desperate for money and started posting breastfeeding videos on YouTube that were clearly meant to be sexual. For those that don't know, YouTube has always had an exception to their nudity policy if the content is educational. And they used to have that for artistic expression as well, but that started getting abused. A lot of people recognized a loophole there where you could claim anything was artistic and then just have full nudity on YouTube. I remember a couple of classic bangers, such as the girl who opened a can of SpaghettiOs with her pussy and then like dumped the SpaghettiOs on the floor and called it modern art, or the absolute timeless masterpiece of the older woman who dressed in a morph suit but then cut the pussy out, so she just have her vagina on full display, and then she had a man pick her up and carry her around while she peed everywhere in a circle. So that was hype, and eventually YouTube recognized that this was getting abused, so they don't really have that exception for artistic nudity anymore, at least not like they used to, but it does still exist for educational content. So things like how to administer a breast exam, or like how to do a Brazilian wax. If you look up that kind of shit, you can find full nudity because it's people trying to educate, even though a lot of people will recognize there's bad actors here, once again just using that educational loophole for porn on the platform. But the point is, and there's also naked yoga on YouTube, fully nude yoga that they claim is educational on poses and how the human body reacts to the poses. I'm getting sidetracked. There is a loophole for nudity on the platform as long as it's educational. And Lee Felton, it took advantage of that. She started making this breastfeeding content where she just had her titties out and she'd have her child being breastfed. And she made a lot of content like that and then started to recognize that her audience wasn't women trying to learn how to breastfeed. It was creepy, absolute fucking worms that were watching her to jerk off. It was sexual. so she started to lean into it.
Lee reportedly made breastfeeding videos where she rubbed herself and her child down in oil and shoved her breasts in the baby's face. Lee would give her videos titles akin to something you might find on an adult website. Titles such as Slip and Slide and Mommy's a Whore. Jesus fucking Christ.
Jesus fucking Christ is right. So Lee Felton turned to the ultimate dark side. She was not only producing this pornographic material, but she was selling unlisted links to the videos to these absolute fucking degenerates. And you can clearly recognize the big problem here. She was producing pornography that involved an actual child.
According to reports, a Wisconsin man was apparently busted purchasing Lee's content by his wife, and after discovering the repulsive videos, the wife reported Lee Felton to authorities.
And hopefully the wife also left the husband, because that is an absolute unhinged weirdo, and hopefully he was also charged with purchasing child pornography, because that's what this shit is. You have porn that involves a child. It's child pornography. And initially she was facing an absolute grocery list here of charges, 34 counts of capital sexual battery, plus other charges of promoting a sexual performance by a child, possession of child pornography, and lewd and lascivious molestation, crimes that could have carried a life sentence, but she was only found guilty on one of the charges, which carried a 10-year sentence. Now, let's go over a little bit more of what Wavy Web Surf points out, which is how she defended these actions in the case.
During her trial, she would describe her videos as a, quote, silly little playful thing, and that she doesn't believe it's criminal.
A silly little playful thing, huh? Fucking menace. What a fiend. Oh, so goofy to produce porn that involves a child that is in your porn. Man, how wacky. Oh, wow, goodness graciously. This was her entire stance during the case, that it wasn't serious, and that she was also going through mental health struggles, which led to her doing this. She said that she had finally got attention that she had been craving for so long, so she leaned into it even further, but it was never serious, and it wasn't criminal or bad or anything. It was just a playful thing that she was also charging money for. That was clearly sexually charged, because a lot of the titles like Mommy's a Whore and Good Little Boy were being sold as the unlisted videos, but for some reason she still tried to play it off like, oh, it's just so silly, that's all, you guys are overreacting. That was her absolute lobotomized take during all of it. And her lawyers were just as smooth-brained. They tried to argue that everything she did was protected by free speech. I'm not even fucking kidding, I'm not making that up. They made this a free speech argument, that she should be able, and it's not criminal, for her to breastfeed her child in these sexually charged fetish videos because it's a free speech expression.
Lee Felton's defense attempted to argue that her breastfeeding videos fell under free speech protection, but nobody was buying this defense. A Tallahassee sheriff's lieutenant puts it best. Quote, the video was clearly not done for the purpose of education or artistic display. Based on the content and the fact that it's being sold by Felton, it is clear this video is for sexual purposes.
Fucking obviously. This is not a free speech issue. I love free speech. I hate censorship. You know what this isn't? Free speech. And it's not censorship. You can't just use this as a catch-all term or defense like, what do you mean I can't dismember my neighbor when I'm upset? What about free speech, huh? Do we not live in a free country? I can't go over there and just fucking decapitate him? Come on. What? Are you serious? I don't want to live in a society where Lee Felton can't produce sexual breastfeeding videos for people to enjoy. Oh my goodness. What happened to free speech? It's fucking lunacy. It's absolute craziness that that's what they tried. But what's even more insulting is that it must have worked to some degree, because her charges, all 34 of them, she was found not guilty on, except for one. But that charge carried a 10-year sentence, so she is still spending a significant time behind bars, but not as long as she should, I would argue. She of course lost custody of her child, but I really don't understand why they reduced the sentence so much. There was overwhelming evidence against her, with tons of videos as well as tons of receipts of the videos being sold to like 40 or 50 different clients allegedly. Like that, I still feel like 10 years was a pretty light sentence for all of this, with all of that considered, but whatever. Anyway, Just wanted to talk about this because I found this to be a pretty interesting story that I'd never heard of before, so huge hats off to Wavy Web Surf for finding this and talking about it, because this was a really interesting and really fucked up one. That's about it. So yeah. This is a video I probably should have made 2 years ago, but the person it's about is a parasite who thrives off of attention and controversy. He himself comes forward and says he only does these things so people will make videos about him. His name is Penguinz0. He's the oh yeah guy. It's the only thing he's ever done. It's the 15 minutes of fame that he continues to milk the very dry titties of to this day, to command a troop of 13-year-olds to harass, dox, threaten, and do all kinds of deplorable shit to other people online from all sizes. People that have 2 viewers on Twitch to big streamers to big content creators. He does some absolutely degenerate shit, and I truly think he is one of the most vile, foulest people to ever use the platform and abuse the power that he found online. I was never a fan of his content, but I never really had a problem with him as a person. It wasn't my cup of cum, but I didn't care. I don't watch it, it didn't matter to me. He even used to stop into my streams when I streamed on YouTube and just be super nice. So I had a positive impression of the guy until he decided to open Pandora's box and create a Discord channel for his YouTube community with the sole purpose of harassing and bullying as many people as he could find online. And he tried to weaponize them by having them go to streamers' streams and spam racist and homophobic shit by his orders and spam Max Gang with it, hoping to get the streamers banned for it. And from what I remember, some of them did get banned, but the ones that didn't just had a really bad time because he had the whole Discord go bully them. He did this to my channel back in the day. He did it recently, which is why I'm talking about it now.
Of the Discord, which is the oh yeah guy. Now, this is what he does. So if you read the post, it says, everyone, go to this live stream, type Weast Raid, Weast Gang, and say homophobic stuff, and spam, and be racist, and sexist, and mean, and also Max Gang. And then
the reason why he had them saying Weast Gang is because that's a YouTuber that he didn't like, so he wanted to make it sound like all of the homophobic and racist shit was coming from that guy's community, hoping he'd get banned for it. He did this for other streamers as well, and he'd target small streamers and hopefully get that streamer plus the guy that he was impersonating banned as well. It was really just deplorable shit. And yeah, this is some horrible shit, but it gets worse. He also would have his followers go to other people's channels and force them to do things, like there was a man that had a mental illness that he went to the channel and forced him to eat his own shit on stream. He was threatening and having his community threaten to find and kill him if he didn't do everything Max said.
So, hold Mr. BTFO close to your mouth. It's time to eat him. To show Don't eat them. Just push through. You don't give a fuck. Eat all of it.
For obvious reasons, I had to crop the video so you can't see him eating his own shit, but he also had him right on his stomach in his own feces. It's just extremely fucked up, and Max is laughing about it the whole time and threatening him through it. It is really hard to sit there and watch. It's like watching a fucking ISIS video. Like, it looks like this guy's being held captive by Max. There was also this content creator that Max targeted, a very small creator who was just making some things because he was having fun. He took his whole community to bully the shit out of him relentlessly. He ended up crying and profusely apologizing, begging for the bullying to stop, which, of course, Max didn't.
Forgiveness. Just please stop harassing me, please. I beg for forgiveness. Please have mercy. Please.
The guy was going through a really hard time. He started apologizing profusely, begging for the bullying to stop, which Max didn't let it. I'm not going to show you any of that because it's beyond disturbing. Penguinz0 would also have his community reach out to YouTubers and have a guy put things up his asshole, take it out and eat it for them, to try and disturb them and shock them. He would have live streams where he'd have his fans get naked, and they'd make fun of the naked fans and have them do other gross shit, usually to their butthole. It's really fucking weird shit. Over the course of a couple months, Max then had his community dox Weast, and then threatened to go to his house and kill him and his family. He then had his community target Weast's girlfriend, whose father had recently passed away, to insult her father and bully the shit out of her about her dad's passing. And he had this to say about it: there's no remorse because this guy is truly trash.
The situation was bully Weast's girlfriend about her father, who had recently passed away.
Okay. And then I saw this opportunity where she was like, oh, my dad died, and I sent some people, and, you know, that was because I wanted him to make a video. I still think maybe I probably shouldn't have done it. It was not my best moment, but I would do it again.
There were a number of articles written about Max at the time by sites like Dixerto, talking about the drama and how Max had been accused of harassing Weist. Instead of denying it, he just did interviews where he shamelessly admitted that he had done it and that he didn't care.
If I got him banned, honestly, I think that would have been funny. I don't really care that much about him.
Max desperately craves attention. As he self-admits, the only thing he cares about is people talking about him and making videos and sucking his dick and sucking his asshole. That's all he cares about. So making a video is exactly what he wanted me to do. But the reason I'm doing it is because I feel like his audience that he has in his Discord right now, the one that's attacking my Discord because he told them to, probably doesn't know what kind of person Max actually is. I feel like the majority of people would be shocked to learn these things about Max, especially his stance on child pornography being shared in his community. Now, everything I've talked about up till this point isn't even the whole story behind this hemorrhoid. This is simply just the cherry on top of the massive queef cake that is Max. And that brings us to the reason and the biggest problem I have with Max and why I'm making this video today. He's recently popped his head out after hibernating for over a year, stewing in his own bodily fluids and filth, and he wanted to feel powerful again, so he set up another Discord to have people go in and harass streamers, and I was one of the targets. And when they targeted me, I mentioned saying Max Gang is like saying you're proud to be a pedophile. And the reason why I said this is because Maximilian himself will tell you the reason he remakes the Discord so many times is because his community shares so much child porn that he has to take it down because he worries that he himself will get arrested for it. Unfortunately, Max has scrubbed his entire Reddit and made it private, so all of the posts that were talking about the child porn plague that was sweeping through Maximilian's community, they're no longer there. His own posts about his stance on it are no longer there. However, I did find one thread that he overlooked where it does talk about it. It's this right here, where they're talking about someone that was sharing child porn, and that was the reason it was taken down. This is the only one that survived the purge of Maximilian's subreddit, and I don't know how Max handles these things these days, but back then, he used to defend it, saying that the sharing of child porn was just an inside joke of his community. And he also took down people's videos that were talking about this. Like, here's a link to one, which is no longer available because Max struck it down. People were calling this out. People were talking about how Max is cultivating a community of people that are sharing child porn. Now, while you can't control every lunatic that's gonna watch your dog shit Fortnite trolling videos, you can control your response to it by banning them and making a statement saying that this shit is not okay. I've never seen Max say that. The only statements I saw him make in the past were that it's just jokes, and that's why he's remaking the servers. That's beyond fucked up, Max. It's an actual fucking felony. You can't just say, oh, no. You see, the child porn, it was just a goof. It was just for laughs, you know? Just, why aren't you laughing? Now, maybe Max handles these things totally different these days. Maybe he's went on a full soul-searching journey, locked himself in a sensory deprivation tank for a full year to find himself, and he realizes that the sharing of child porn isn't just hearty giggles and that it's wrong. Perhaps, though it doesn't seem like he's any different than he used to be 2 years ago, considering he is still making these Discords and having his community harass people and do deplorable things on his behalf. And he still makes weird jokes about himself being a pedophile. Like, here's what he said in his Discord after I said what I said on stream. Like, what the fuck is this, Max? Ah, classic side-splitting comedy from Max. Ha ha ha. Yeah, you're a pedophile. Ah, ha 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 ha. Good one, Max. So yeah, this is the Max that I knew, which is why I said those things about his community. Now, I do want to apologize because I shouldn't have made it a full blanket, because I know for 100% fact there's a lot of people in his Discord and in his community that don't know these things about Max, and I don't think they would feel comfortable supporting someone that thinks child pornography is just a joke in his following. That doesn't strike me as something many people agree with. So I do want to apologize to people that I hurt by saying those things when you probably just didn't know these things about Max to begin with. If you only watch his shitty content, you don't know what he's doing on Discord, and I realize that now, so I do want to apologize for that. However, if the community has to be remade over 50 times on Discord because child porn keeps getting shared, wouldn't you say there's a problem with that? I mean, you probably wouldn't, Max, because you used to defend it saying that it's just jokes, but most sane people would probably say that there's a big issue. But anyway, I just wanted to share some of these. This isn't everything. He's been doing this for years on a private Discord that he only allows X amount of people in for like an hour, and then he shuts it all off. He doesn't do any of this on YouTube. He doesn't do any of this publicly because he knows how fucked up it is. And I do want to again apologize to people that didn't know about these things and just think I was insulting them. I understand that not everyone was aware of these things about Max. There's a lot more, but it'd be like an hour-long video to go through all of it. So just understand that I didn't mean it personally towards people that didn't know this dark side of Max, where he's a Sith Lord of actual degeneracy. But yeah, anyway, that's about it. See ya. Minecraft has absolutely exploded on the internet over the last year or so, and in terms of just raw popularity, it's right up there with Jesus Christ. It is absolutely huge, everyone's playing it, and in a world that really blames video games for everything wrong, from micro penises to global conflict, one thing has always remained the same. No one ever really points the finger at Minecraft, and for good reason. You can't defend a point where you're arguing Minecraft is a catalyst for bad things. Not even the most dustiest, pussied, wrinkliest, scrotumed old boomer could possibly make a case, because Minecraft at its core is all about exploring, learning, being creative, imaginative, all things society really puts a big emphasis on. And it's honestly just about as innocent as anything can possibly be. It's not overly predatory like a mobile game that's constantly flashing in front of your fucking face, triggering your epilepsy, begging you to get your parents' credit card, to buy a bunch of shit in the game, spend thousands of dollars behind their back, offer no refunds. Just all this to say, Minecraft has a reputation for just being a really great, innocent game. But like most things on the internet, YouTubers find a way to fuck it. And in this case, I do mean literally. I found a very disturbing rabbit hole recently in the Minecraft YouTubing community, and like most things, I dove in, both nipples erect, ready to really get the most out of this experience, looking around, absorbing all of the sin that the Minecraft YouTubers were putting on the platform. So let's get into this. There exists a very powerful network of Minecraft degenerates, basically the Illuminati of the Minecraft community. It's accessible by typing in best Minecraft animation, top Minecraft animation, and in a nutshell, it's just sexual degenerate Minecraft fetishists that have these channels dedicated to uploading Minecraft porn thumbnails on top of stolen Minecraft content. So what you'll see when you type in this phrase on YouTube is you'll see a ton of videos with these exact titles, and all the thumbnails are sexual, some just outright full nude Minecraft models. So right away within the first three, you'll see the third one down is doggy styling a Minecraft character. Is it consensual? I don't know, you'd have to ask the character, but judging by the thumbnail, you don't get a lot from it other than doggy style. If you actually click on the video, there is no sexual content in it. Usually it's either stolen Minecraft animations or original pieces, none of it very well done or anything like that, obviously. But all of the thumbnails have a very similar vibe. Right under this, you see a character's clitoris being flicked by a creeper, or excuse me, a zombie. Pardon me, I don't know the proper nomenclature, I'm not a big Minecrafter myself. But anyway, you see the bean being flicked. Or perhaps even a penis being jerked off and you can't see it over the character's arm. There's no telling, but I have named this rabbit hole the Mine Shaft because it's all about penises and stimulation and doggy style. It's very odd. It's baiting people in with these misleading thumbnails, capitalizing on either curious children or other sexual degenerates that like Minecraft shit. And they're getting tens of millions of views a month. Some of these videos have 10 million plus views, just a single video. It's crazy what they're pulling. Directly underneath that one, you have Super Mario 64 dressed up in a pirate costume 69ing with Patchy the Pirate. Just underneath that, you have a full nude beach volleyball squad, and directly underneath that, you have one of the most shameless offenders of what I'm talking about. Look at the woman on the left here, to the right of the zombie man. Also, I don't really understand their fixation with the zombie man. Maybe they like gangrene, that's another fetish, I'm really not sure. But anyway, the woman to the man's right, look at that, full titties out, and she even has landing strip pubic hair. I've seen that countless times from porn actresses, and it's just right there in the thumbnail. Are you kidding me? Sweet goodness gracious, you need not scroll down too much further to find full missionary sex right there in the thumbnail. And then two underneath that, you have reverse cowgirl doggy style extremo with looks like a little backdoor reach around action as well. Of course, using the zombie man again for the activity of this sexual zombie man. I don't understand the fixation with that character. They must like cactus-looking motherfuckers. I really couldn't tell ya. But he's in all of these for the most part. It's filthy. It's gross. It's not what Minecraft is about. Whoops-a-daisy. Hope you weren't watching this at work, because that's full-blown Minecraft tits and pussy. Not even an attempt to censor anything or put pubic hair there. That's some bald vagina shit right there on a Minecraft character. And then you scroll down a little further, you get a fucking combo here, a quad kill of Minecraft porn thumbnails. And then there's also this beautiful collage of 3. It's amazing. And all of this, for some reason, is all still on YouTube, despite the huge crackdown they've had on misleading thumbnails, allegedly, and shit like that. I mean, I can't upload a fucking thumbnail that even remotely resembles what could possibly even be misconstrued as the smallest molecule of even the most tiniest fragment iota of an ass cheek. Meanwhile, you got full-on Minecraft pussy just staring you in the face that's only 1 click away in one small search. This really about covers it for all of my findings during the investigation. There is hundreds upon hundreds of these videos and a bunch of big channels that upload almost nothing but this shit. And it's just really the tip of the iceberg. It's just I don't need to go through each individual video frame by frame showing you more Minecraft porn thumbnails. I don't know if YouTube knows about it, or if they do, if they're jerking off to it. That must be the case, because it's not exactly like they're underground. These are recommended videos when you click on some Minecraft shit occasionally, and they're getting tens of millions of views, making thousands and thousands of dollars off of these Minecraft porn thumbnails that are in multiple violations of YouTube policies, if nothing else, misleading being the biggest offender, because that shit doesn't even appear in the videos. It's wild. It's fucking wild. Minecraft's super innocent game, but man, YouTubers have a remarkable ability to make anything fucking degenerate. It's crazy. That's about it. See ya.